The seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes, here we go. The Boise bus on a Saturday. Get in there. Positive vibes. Any disguises in the comments tonight? Is anyone the man behind the mask? What on earth could be going on? One man not wearing a mask right now is Giakoumakis. That is a pedigree striker, and we are going to be gushing about the big man tonight. A cult hero of the bus from day one. Shock, horror. The top scorer from Holland can smash it in the Spfl. Fourth choice, written off a month ago. Slap my thigh. I tell you, what a load of nonsense now. Whilst I don't kid on to be Nostradamus, picking Giakoumakis has been someone who'd be pretty handy for Celtic was not a difficult call to make. As you will see, there's three of us tonight. You could call it a treble. Right now, I'm joined by Phil McGinley on his treble appearance on the Boise bus. Bruce FM rejoins us for his second appearance. You will recognise him as being one of the first contestants on the Double Doon show. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
All good, mate. Aye, absolutely fantastic.
Top dollar.
Brilliant.
Can't complain.
Love it. Welcome back on the bus. Welcome back on the bus. Now,
always happy
obviously,
to be on the bus, mate. Always happy.
Yes. Always. I like to thank our sponsors, fanboyfootball.com. What a partner they're going to be in the next coming months. Once you get the merch on that site, it is going to go like, what is the same? Hotcakes. What is a hotcake? Sell like hotcakes. I think. It's a strange saying that though. Who wants a hot cake? Anyway, hopefully everyone likes the merch, but that will be on their site. April is going to be a big month for the Boise bus, and we look forward to all of it. We've got loads of comments coming in. There's positive vibes, guys. And why wouldn't there be? After a result, and not just the result, a performance that blew away one of the most informed teams in the league at this moment in time, and I know his flaws, but you're still allowed to say when a manager's a good manager. Malcolm Mackay is a good manager. Whether we like him as a person, of course, you know, he's got many, you know, character traits that, you know, have been exposed and stuff like that. But as a manager, he's got a good record, right? At a higher level than Ross County. And I thought they came today full of confidence, full of beans, and we slapped them silly. Phil, I'll come to you. You were at the game. How good was that today?
Superb, mate. When it comes to teams like Ross County, they will always come to Glasgow with the same game plan. They want to keep it 0-0 as long as possible. But if you score an early goal against them, the whole plan goes out the window. What was that, the first 10 minutes? We scored the first one in. perfect start, and we just never ever relented after that. I don't think Joe Hart had anything to do. Could have got a magazine out and done a crossword for all I know during the game, because, it was another superb performance. So 7 more to go, mate. Getting so close now. So more of the same next, please.
There's a magnificent 7 games to go, Bruce. Can the Celtic bus be stopped, though, Bruce? When you're looking at displays like the Spaghetti had only a week ago, one of our most notorious difficult trips, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. You're looking at us going to Tannadice, a tricky cup game, dispatching of and then today, in-form Ross County come, and we dispose them like that. It's 3 performances in a row. Celtic look right back to their best. 7 games left. Magnificent 7 games left. Can we be stopped?
I don't think we can, I think the difference is, look at where we are now. Earlier on in the season, we were struggling to beat a certain type of setup that we were playing, playing up against a lot of anti-football or whatever. We didn't have the answers and how to open up those teams, how to get the goals, how to get the 3 points over the line. Now, it doesn't matter how teams play against us. We seem to have a game plan to handle any of that. So, just bring it on. Bring anybody on.
Yeah. But this is the thing. This is the thing. Celtic right now, Andrews describes it as the business end of the season. Celtic are getting down to business. That's the way I see it right now. Now, what you're watching is we've had measured performances since the start of the year. I think after the Glasgow Derby, I felt there was a slight dip in the overall performance of Celtic. But the reason you weren't concerned is because we're winning football matches, right? And we're knowing how to manage games so much better than what we could 6 months ago, 5-6 months ago. This is what happens when you learn from the manager. You get used, and when your manager adapts a wee bit maybe to his surroundings as well, and the completely different fixtures he's playing. What we've seen today was the perfect balance of early form, Ange, when we blew teams away at home, and the balance and the measure and the control that he's been trying to implement. But having both is very difficult to do. What we've seen today, though, was Celtic, in my opinion, Phil, showing that we've not lost that streak where we can come out in the first 20 minutes and blow teams away, by the way. That's still there. It's just we're a far more well-rounded outfit now in terms of, I think mentality is a huge part of it. Celtic now believe we can win the title. I think, my honest hunch now is, I think we will win the title. And I'm not saying that overconfidently. I'm not saying it like disrespecting the opposition like many people want to do all the time. It's not about that. I believe now we will go on and win that league. From what I've seen, Celtic are now, as I say, they approach the business end of getting down to business. What do you think of that?
You coming to me first, aye?
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you. I'm quietly confident, I'll put it that way, that we're going to go on and win the title. I'm not. There's still a lot to go, but we've put ourselves in a great position now. We're in a great run of form. What is it, 31 domestic games unbeaten now, something like that. But that's for the last 3 games: 3 goals against Livingston, 3 against Dundee United, 4 today. So we're hitting form at just the right time. Injuries seem to be a lot more forgiving than what they were a few months ago, because that was brutal. But I think we were told, that Ange always has his, prepared for the run in. He always talks about the team being at peak performance then. And to be fair, a lot of it's starting to come to fruition now. So the signs are good, mate. The omens are good. So after that performance today, I'm the same boat as you. I'm leaning towards it as well. But we've still got a wee bit of work to do, but we've given ourselves a great opportunity here. So get it done, boys.
Now, 7 games to go, you brought up, Bruce, right? 7 games to go doesn't mean we did 7 wins out of 7. Ideally, we do that, right? Of course. I think 5 wins, John Hartson was talking about on the old Pass to Paradise today. He was like, I've worked it out, 5 wins from 7. And when you actually thought about it, it makes sense, particularly if one of those 5 is at Ibrox, which is, that fixture's looming. But I think it's casting a bigger shadow on their fixture list than ours, right enough. That's my honest vibe. This is an incredible position Celtic find themselves in. I'm sure before the winter break we were 6 points behind. Now we're talking about we need 5 wins from 7 and we've won the league. Now, it is not, if we'll use the word cake again, it's not a cakewalk, right?
Mhm.
But right now, you can't deny, Bruce, you were biting anyone's hand off to be in this situation right now with 7 games to go.
I just, like, before the start of this season, I just desperately wanted to avoid embarrassment on the same sort of scale as last season. I never thought that we'd actually league this year. I thought if we could be more competitive than we were last year, maybe instill some new ideas, new tactics, embed some new players, get rid of like the players that wanted to leave, and then just start building something. And then everybody that was an Ange expert before the start of the season was saying, you need to give this guy at least 2 years, because in the first year he's just setting groundwork. So we just strapped ourselves in for the ride and thought it's going to be a bumpy one, but we'll give him the time. Now we're in pole position. All we have to do is just keep doing what we're doing. It's just mad to think that we're in position in the first place, when we don't need to change anything. The only thing we need to ensure is that we just keep doing what we're doing. And then it's ours. And, you know, they must be scared of us from the 3-0 game, surely. If it had been the other way around, I would be dreading going to Ibrox. Now, just looking forward to it. So, yeah, look how we've come. 7 games, 31 unbeaten, 7 left.
Now, I think, Bruce, you're absolutely right. Going to Ibrox, I am not going to sit. I know we're looking a wee bit ahead, but I am not going to sit and say that's an easy fixture. Of course it's not, right? It's not an easy fixture. I don't care how biased we can all want to be when we're talking about our team. Let's live in reality for a minute.
Yep.
They're all right out for. They are not miles away from us, or there's not much between the two teams, whatever way you want to look at it, in my opinion. Away to them, if we're 3 points behind, 16, 17, 18 goals, whatever the goal difference is behind, that is, as you say, a nightmare. I think we can afford to lose that game.
Yep.
They can't. They can't afford to drop points in that game. They have to take all 3. The pressure, how this is we've went from the chasers to now being in a position where all eyes on you. And I think one of the biggest challenges will come tomorrow. European hangovers, trips from Belgrade, Dundee away, pressure ramped on them, 6 points, 18 goals behind, lunchtime kickoff. I know Dundee are shit. I know they've got the worst manager in the league, Mark McGee. I mean, honestly, what that appointment's all about is embarrassing. But even then, there's just a wee bit of you that goes, have we seen this movie before? And Ange won't be even watching it, because he says it's all just about what we do. And in theory, that's actually true, because as long as Celtic keep doing what they're doing, as Bruce is saying, the league's done. It's won. It's done. The game's a bogey.
It doesn't matter if they win all of the rest of their games apart from, and then, you know, the 2 remaining Glasgow derbies are draws.
Yep.
Got it. And it doesn't matter.
It's all very much in our favour. I think as well, you're watching a team that's went from learning a style of play slightly different, and a lot of new guys, by the way, into a fold all at the same time is very difficult to manage, particularly when you have, as Postecoglou does, a very niche, shall we say, style of playing, right? That is very unusual, shall we say, to us regular viewers of Scottish football. I remember I posted a photo when we lost in Europe. I think it was the Leverkusen at home, and it was Montgomery and Ralston in the centre circle when we lose possession, and we go, and I basically shared the photo and went, what the fuck is this? This is stupid. You know, this is way... Now everyone seems to get the roles more. You don't see as much of that crap.
Yeah.
Yes, there are these inverted fullbacks that were at the start of the season, but inverted fullback doesn't look as... I don't mean foreign in an actual way. I just mean alien, in fact, shall we say. It doesn't look as alien to us now, seeing what they're doing. Now they get the message than what they were before. I felt the team wasn't quite understanding what Ange's message was at the start. And maybe that's understandable, because there were a whole new collection of players together, 12 signings in the summer, I think, alone, and a new manager implementing football that, as I say, is kind of it's refreshing on these shores, but not, again, something that we're particularly used to. Now, second half of the season, as you say, 31 games now, domestically, unbeaten, Phil. It's the longest run of domestic games unbeaten since the invincible season under beautiful Brendan Rodgers. What a human being. I mean, you're looking at it now, and you're thinking, that is title winning form. Why can't we talk about the title as fans? I'm not, one of the players. I'm not the manager. I'm a fan. I think we're going to win it.
See, when you put it all into perspective as well, like that, and you just think of how we've got ourselves in positions. You say, new manager, didn't come in with any staff members, had to overhaul the squad massively. And to be in this position now, so you're right, we are quite entitled to talk about the title at this stage, more than right to. But we've put ourselves in a good position where we don't need to win at Ibrox. But you know what the best thing about it is? Ange won't treat it like that. Ange is not going to go into that dressing room on that day and say, we'll play for a 0-0 draw today, boys. Oh, no. He'll say that the best way to get the result today, we're just going to go at them, just going to do what we've been doing all season. We're not going to change it. We're not going to try and play 10 men behind the ball and hold out for a 0-0 here. He'll go for it. And I'm all on board with that. That's definitely the right way to do it. Because how many times have you seen things like that happen to teams? They know they only need a point and it just backfires on them. It's happened to teams in the past before. So that's what I love about the big man. He will not change his style at all. And but yeah, we are in a position where we can take one free hit and we've still got to play them at Celtic Park as well, which I'm pretty confident in that one. So
that's the key.
Yeah. Buzzing, man.
So I was watching his interview with Open Goal. I was saying to Regan last night, I mean, Cy Ferry should never, ever have his nose looked down on by anyone.
No.
Particularly, when the success he's had commenting on football and the career he's had. Not that it's been glittering by any stretch, but he's got real life football experience. He's got great patter and he knows what he's doing in interviews, I think. He plays the dumb dafty, I think, to get more out of the guest. It's maybe just as completely it's maybe completely organic the way he does it, and he's not meaning to do it, but either way it works. Ange opens up that wee bit more when he's talking to people like this, and he says, I always hear about, it's just about getting the points right now. He goes, you're saying it's all just, he goes, because I think Sai says it's all just about winning right now, though, between now and then the season, as long as you win. And Ange is like, well, hold on, I wouldn't play the style of football I do if I didn't think it was already all about winning. Listen, mate, he's like, this is the style of football I think wins more games than not. So we are going to keep sticking to our guns. We are not going to be just focusing on, get 3 points, get over the line. We're going to play the way I think best wins football matches. That's the whole point of doing the style. He goes, otherwise, why would I want us to play like this for the sake of it? What's the point? And the way he said it was actually, it made me think, do you know what? In an era where I think, particularly down south, Bruce, managers are all about philosophy and trying to, implement the style on the players, and it's always more about their bullshit than it is the points on the board, and you need to. I'm like, come on, just get the job done, mate. And what I'm just saying is, I am getting the job done, but it's the style of football I'm playing. Whilst it might look complicated to some, or look like we're trying to be too nice. Trust me, I think this is the way to win the most amount of points out of 38 games. Bruce, that's, to me, a win-win.
Absolutely. I think, like a lot of managers like you were saying, down south or whatever, a lot of managers will open up this made-up book that I'm just making up now that's, managerial style. Like P.M.P, and it says the defensive manager. You have to have this philosophy. This is the way you have to think. This is how you have to set up teams. And they just follow it. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And then someone says, why did you lose today? And they just go, I don't know. I thought I'd got everything right. But, Ange seems to not be trying to stick to any mold or try to, copy anything or piggyback on someone else's ideas. He's like, this is what I think we need to do. This is how I see football. That's how I want to see it played. So that's how my team's going to play. Done. There's no page on it. It's just that's what's in his head, and it works. So
yeah, but it's not about his ego. It's not about his ego, Bruce. That's the beauty of this, right? This is not about Ange going, this is how I play, so like it or lump it. He's going, this is how we play because I think this will win us the most amount of points. Yeah, that's what he's like. He goes, I felt at the time when he first got the job, I was concerned that he's putting the style of the football over results. But he kept saying, stop looking at what other teams are doing right now in the league table. This is the beginning of something. He shut me up. He was spot on. Fair play. My concern was he was part of this modern generation of manager, like you're talking about, Bruce, that are going, no, I need to, my philosophy, my style comes before anything. I won't sacrifice that no matter what. And you're like, well, that's just stupid. Because you don't get 2-3 years at Celtic to get that final, that message across. You have to win whilst you're doing these things as well. Chunks of my Chunks comes in. It's his 40th birthday. He's one of the funniest contributors in the comments as always. Happy birthday, Chunks, mate. I mean, even
Happy
your
birthday,
username
Chunks.
It's just too
Do you
good.
know,
so yes, you are. Yeah, go on.
And amongst all the carnage that was going on in the comments last night, I felt, you know what, this whole argument could do? Chunks in my Trunks comment to put him in his place. That was what was missing last night, because I noticed he wasn't there. But happy birthday, Chunks.
I know. I think we'll get to the comments last night. I heard there was a public address, by the Queen today. Do you know what I mean? Who gives a fuck, honestly? We'll get there anyway. But honestly, big drama merchant. Honestly, it's not a public address. It's fucking Boise and a podcast that's called A Bus. Don't take it too seriously. And by the way, awfully funny that this impersonator isn't in the comments again today. Now, if it wasn't him, surely they'd be back for a bit more today, considering the nuclear reaction. Pure choice it was in the current climate, but considering the reaction that it got, do you know what I mean? You'd be back in those comments for more today, wouldn't you? But no sign. I'm beginning to think when Scooby-Doo, when you pull off the mask out. So I think it was a JJB, DPD, PJD, whatever he's called, mask. I mean, you take it off, it's actually him underneath it. That's actually what I think. So I've changed my tune on it a wee bit. I'm beginning to think, where is he today? If you were that set and creating a fake account to be someone, you would be right back in today, because you got last night the absolute drama,
the reaction
that you'd have been looking for. Yep. The reaction, that's a better word than talking about nuclear and stuff, definitely. Martin K listened back to last night's pod and he says it was quality, it was funny. The Imposter Undertaker storyline has been done to death, boy, says David Logue. Very good. Now, David Logue is someone else. Phil, we've spoken about working on a concept show over the summer, which is going to be great fun. It is going to be class. And it was you came to me with the idea, so I might even get you to host it if I could twist your arm into it, and I'll be the guest. I think that could be a good wee dynamic. Putting me in the driving seat. Well, mate, sometimes it's 5 and drive isn't always the best idea. But I've spoke with David, and we've got another wee idea, keep the bus flowing over the summer, because let's be honest, transfer rumours, you can only go so far with it, gets a bit boring. So we're going to be doing another feature show that's Celtic minded, but again, a bit of nostalgia involved, a bit of fact finding going to be involved, a bit of, good trivia to know what we think will be involved as well. I'm going to do that with David and another. So looking forward to all these wee things as well. As I say, I get guests on for the Double Doon show. They then come back and do some post-match pish, and then you're seeing it sort of develop further. I'm not here to milk people, by the way. I'm not here to, go, just keep, grafting and coming on the show, getting viewers in and just get hee-haw. It's not about that. If you want to contribute on it, brilliant. If it ever does get to the stage where we're making actual Wonga, trust me, you'll get your share. That's the honest truth, because I'm a man of the people, man. Do you know what I mean? Unlike some.
Mate, we literally come on the show because we enjoy it, and you've got everybody on your side. Like, I didn't expect you to message me today and say, if I go on post-match pish, because I've been on twice and only just, a week ago. So I was like, the people going to be fed up looking at my face already. But no, I'm honoured when you asked me, mate. Honestly, I was like, yes, I'll more than have to come on. But yeah, we do it because we enjoy it. So keep doing what you're doing, mate. More content, the better. So, yes.
Not
legend, mate. Appreciate that.
It's just like, do you want to come and chat some pish about the match later on? Yeah, all right. Nice one.
There's no airs or graces. But I think that's what I'm trying to remind people is, you can be on a certain pod and think that, suddenly you're part of the elite and, my knowledge is better than yours because I'm on, fucking fan media's equivalent to sports scene, you know what I mean? But realistically, it's fan media, right? That's what drew me, because I wanted an alternative to mainstream media. I fucking hate mainstream media. I hate it. So I want to see the real pub chats brought to life on camera. Once I feel you're trying to play games either to curry favour with the club, to hope that you get press access, which I don't give a shit about. I can't emphasise that enough. Honestly, what business do I have in places like that? None. I want to have the real chat over a beer at the weekend, after a game, with a real fan who, in your case, you've been there, Phil, today. In Bruce's case, he's hundreds of miles away, but sitting as engrossed as Phil would be in the stand, and I was whilst I was trying to, do my job, because I was in my actual day job today, not driving a bus. And it's great fun. There is no airs and graces. We all enjoy it. Now, let's think of what we could talk about next, because I've got another wee...
I was just going to quickly say as well, the lad that sits next to me at Celtic Park, Chris, I introduced him to this show. I sent him the link and says, mate, get watching this. I'm on it. And his review of the first one that I was on says, it sounded like two guys down the pub having a conversation about Celtic. And I was like, exactly what you're going for. That's exactly what he said. I didn't influence him in any way. He just said to me, that's what it came across like. And I'm like, that's what it's meant to be. So, yeah.
That is class. That is class. Now, Boise, we could be talking about the Boise bus right now when we talk about chaos, danger, bedlam. We are talking instead about Celtic's two, in my opinion, Giakoumakis is a January signing. That's how I'm going to kind of look at him. I don't think he was even close to being fit enough to be the regular first-team striker in the first half of the season. As he says, I'm fit, I'm healthy. When he said that, you went, this is a different guy now. I call him Chaos Giakoumakis. I think it's catching a bit of fire online. It's good. It's a good nickname. I call Dazen Maeda Danger Maeda. I think they both together bring bedlam. That's twice I've seen them start together now, Bruce. Defenders have no idea how to deal with, firstly, two workaholics. Both of them love the physical battle. One with crazy pace, the other one's built like a wrestler and is a real supreme natural finisher. This is an incredible couple of players to have playing together when you've got the finesse, the skills, the creativity of the likes of Jota on one flank, or whether it be the directness of an Abada. But right now you're looking at these two, Chaos and Danger. We need them in the team to create the bedlam. And Ross County, they were a team that had bedlam caused on them today.
Absolutely. And another thing, like, I know Jota isn't part of this Chaos and Danger thing, but he sort of facilitated some movement between Maeda and Jota, because they kept switching wings. So, like, how as a defender, right back, and you're tracking Maeda, and then suddenly he's going over to the left flank, and you're thinking, right, do I switch now with the left back, or do I just let him just do a free run across there and hope that it's fine? Who knows? Because you don't want to know, because it's chaos is being caused basically at that point, and it does cause bedlam.
This is it.
Then you've got Giakoumakis in there. His first goal today was at his 10th goal for us, and they were all one-touch finishes. His second one was like a double one-touch finish. He went for a one-touch, it got saved, and then he was just like, I'm having none of that. Just stuck his head on it again. You're just thinking, there's no stopping that guy whatsoever. And then you look it up and try to track Maeda's runs. And, you're watching it on the telly, or I was watching it on the telly just thinking, I don't even know where he's going to go next. I'm not even sure if he knew where he was going to go next. It's just like, it's just pulling defences apart. And I think maybe that's the answer from, look at the first Ross County game when Big Tony Ralston had to, pull us out of the shit in the 97th minute with that header. Yeah, great times, but that was stressful. And we had no answers. We just kept flinging balls into the box. We didn't have to do that today. And any balls that went into them were head height, midriff height, along the floor. Full bag, mixed bag. So,
Bruce, love this. I love this, what you're saying right now, Bruce. I was at Celtic Aberdeen, I'm sure it was. And we won. What was the score? 1-0 or 2-1 or something?
That day we won away.
No, it was at Celtic Park. We played Hearts 3 days later. It was before the time of the year. I went with Johnson, another regular Monday Club guest. Tim. Gareth Bale, as he's been called now. And that was funny. But basically, we were watching crosses going in the box that were so unsuited to Kyogo up front. You're like, what is this? And I think what you're seeing there is we've got the option now. And Giakoumakis is a thoroughbred finisher. He is a one-time finisher as well. He wants to score with his first touch. He's not wanting to set himself. He's impulsive. He knows where the goal is. He's one of those, he's got that wee streak you cannot teach. Now, I'm not saying he's ability-wise, he's the best thing I've ever seen. Far from it, but that instinct, that killer instinct, has been key. I believe it's 11 goals now, 12 goals, 12, I think it is. He's up to now.
Yeah,
the vast majority of them up, in 2022. You're seeing the variety. See that second goal? That was the best goal he scored today, by the way, because the reaction time is literally 0.1 of a second. He's guided that in the corner, and he has reacted, as again, I'll say, instinctively. There's just another bit about him as well that I think is so important. And it's basic stuff here. But Phil, he's fucking up for it. He is so up for it. And that seems...
Aye.
That's a bit basic analysis. What's the XG? What's the minutes? He's quite clearly now, I've seen in the comments coming up, that he's got the best now strike rate per minutes. A better one than Kyogo now. So we can talk about all the numbers all you want. But see, when you watch someone just with that sort of... I'm acting like Tony Adams here doing all this, but he's just got that bit of oomph about him, man, that I think is so important as well.
No bad for somebody that's a fourth choice striker, apparently, yeah. Not a bad record at all. I'm pretty sure a few months ago when we signed him, Anthony Joseph on Twitter said something about had Venlo actually stayed up, it would have been £12 million we'd been looking for, but it must be one of these cases, because if you're a champ manager player, football manager player, you know about these things, these release clauses. They've been relegated. He could have went for a cheaper price, and we've absolutely want to watch with it. Because, again, I'm not going to, like yourself, not going to pretend to be ITK, but there was something a bit suspicious about the whole transfer in the sense that, he came in for that price after being top scorer. He didn't look fit. So I'm wondering was he playing a bit of hardball with Venlo trying to get him? Maybe he didn't have a proper pre-season, but he said it at the turn of the year. He came out in an interview and said, once I'm fit, judge me then. And he has been fit for 2022. He's had to lead the line because of the injuries we've had to Kyogo, and he has absolutely delivered so far. And he's got a good wee partnership with Danger Maeda next to him as well, who, by the way, some of the closing down today, fantastic. Haven't seen that for a wee while, with the goalkeepers fanning about in the ball, and he closes them down and actually won it a couple of times, but ran out of play.
Yes.
But I don't want to use this guy's name. I don't want to draw his comparison, but the last person I saw doing that was, unfortunately, I'll say it quietly, Lee Griffiths. He done that a few times as well. Not that Maeda's well clear of him, but I always like to see strikers do that, harass the keeper, because a lot of modern day football, they like to mess around at the back and pass back to the keeper. So it was good to see Maeda getting on top of him today. I say if it was, he was a split second quicker, he could have won that and stuck it in the net and stuff like that as well. So I love to see that as well. Love it.
He did pitch the ball. Sorry, go on, you go, Bruce.
Sorry, it was absolutely everywhere. It's like, if you're a defender, it might be to the left of you, it might be behind you already. He might be running at you. It might be on the other flank. I might be sat with Ange having a cup of tea, not giving a shit. And then suddenly you're like, don't need to worry about him. And then he's flying header into the back of the net, just going, don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. There was that's you being told by David Kelly. Get him off the show.
I know. I want to say it quietly, but I know.
He's joking. He's joking. David,
I'm not advocating for him to come back ever. Do not worry about that. No, he's gone, and he's rightfully gone.
You were right though, Phil. He that was something special that he brought to the team, and every time Griffiths, you could rely on pressure.
We're not going to go on about Griffiths. We're not going on about Griffiths. Drop Griffiths. Drop Griffiths. Let's stay in about good books here.
Maeda does that. He, chases everything down, and people have no to think about.
Maeda's fit. Maeda can do it for 90 minutes, Bruce. Do you know what he is? He's the goalkeeper's nightmare that we've seen today when he pinched the ball off the goalie's feet. And I think you're right. It went out. It was like he was going up towards our right wing corner flag, but he's managed to nick the ball away for the keeper. And you're going, this is scary how quick he is. But he's not just the goalkeeper's nightmare. He's the fullback's nightmare. He's the other team's right-sided midfielder's biggest nightmare. He's back in our half winning balls. If the fullback gets the short pass, he's on you within a flash. And I even think the pace he's running at is intimidating in the first place, because you'll just see it like, well, shit. He's gonna force players into making errors, if not actually getting the ball. He's gonna make them make straight passes. He's gonna win you corner kicks that you weren't meant to win. He's gonna win you throw-ins that you're not meant to win in dangerous territory. That work rate always, and I promise you, I've seen it with Kyogo this season, it rubs off. Tom Rogic's work rate, this season is night and day from his other 9 years. We all know it. And it's because when folk are leading from the front in such a manner, that it feeds off into the team. And there's always that old saying, you need to defend, you need to defend from the front. Your striker is your first defender, essentially. In Maeda, we've certainly got that. I know he's not playing naturally up front right now, he's playing in the wing, but he has played up front. He epitomises all of that, as does CHAOS GIAKOUMAKIS, who for me loves all aspects of football. I think, I remember watching his YouTube reel. Everyone can look good in a YouTube reel. We know this. But see, when you watch GIAKOUMAKIS, I went, there was 2 dinks that he did with the outside of his boot, 2 different ones, from like sort of just inside the box, just outside the box. And you were going, that's quality, that's finesse. That's really, since he's came to Celtic, I think he brings the physical aspect, but I think it's the laziest debate on him is going, well, he brings a physical presence for Celtic. He brings so much more than that. So much more than that. You're seeing a variation in his goals. Look at his takers today. Bruno Fernandes-esque, that penalty. Almost the exact same way he takes a penalty. And you're going, the boy can play a wee bit as well. Again, I know we live in different times. I think when I grew up, we were spoiled. John Hartson was a proven Premier League goal scorer. Chris Sutton was a Premier League winner, a Golden Boot winner in the Premier League as well. That's who we were getting in his prime. And you think, and then you've got Henrik Larsson, who was a god. You look at that standard. I know it's not of that level, but when you're looking at it, you're going, when was the last time Celtic signed a Eredivisie? I'll say that in my Dutch accent, like Arthur Newman with his Adams Ippel. I mean, I think. I mean, when was the last time we signed a guy who was top scorer of the Eredivisie by 7 clear goals? 7. I mean, we should be excited by players like that when they join. Yeah. We shouldn't be chasing to write them off. We shouldn't be describing them when they're our top scorer in the second half of the season and contributed just as importantly as Kyogo did in the first half of the season, in my opinion. I think he's contributed just as importantly. He's got a completely different dimension. The goals are now there to be seen. Why on earth was it ever in doubt, Phil?
It might be one of those cases of sometimes when something's too good to be true, it normally isn't. And again, it just goes back to what I was saying a minute ago about the price tag with him, where you're like, top scorer in the Dutch league, which is definitely better than the Scottish league. We're getting him for only, £2.5, £3 million or something like that. I say with the way contracts work nowadays, there could be all sorts of clauses that could have caused that. They got relegated, he can go for a cheaper price. But no, he's done well. He has done very, very well. And I say a lot of pressure's been on because of the injuries that we've had to Kyogo. He's had to lead the line, and he's absolutely flying right now. So, but no, I agree with you as well about the sort of lazy he's physical. He's buying a lot more than that. He is absolutely doing that, and he isn't just some big clogger. And again, I like the penalty day as well. Although I said I think it was Jorginho. I said the wee hop, skip, and jump that he does. I think Bruno Fernandes
that's a good one. That's fair. That's fair.
Passes into the net. It was good. Much better than the one against Livingston. Put it that way, but no, it was a phenomenal performance. That's his second hat trick now as well. So.
I know. I'm going to come to Bruce quickly here. I want your take on what David Kelly's just brought out there. I think this is very to the point by David, and I think he is absolutely spot on. This is what happens when you live in an existence where everything's about headline chasing statements. Everything's about getting as many retweets as you possibly can, or as many viewers or your pod or whatever it may be. And I think you're spot on, David, with this. I'm so in agreement with this comment. It's unbelievable. Everyone did push their pants over that penalty. Everyone made their mind up then because they were all hurting in the huff. Look at the record last year. A relegated team, as you touch on, Phil, right? A relegated team, and yet he was 7 clear of the next player who joined Dortmund for 30 million, the second top scorer in the Eredivisie, the Arthur Newman's favourite league. But with the biggest Adams Ippel in Old Firm history. But basically, what happened was, right, we get him for 2.5, 2.6 million, 2.6, I think it was, million, right? Yeah. I'm weird with numbers, Rain Man stuff going on with me and numbers, right? But £2.6 million. Do you know what apparently he went to, of course, his valuation? £12 million is what they would have charged if they'd stayed up.
Wow.
But because they went down, we got Holland. This is no Farmers League that we've signed him from. And he was the well-clear top scorer. People talk about penalties. Oh, he scored 9 penalties by the way. I remember a season Barry Ferguson scored 17 penalties. Honestly, it's like, come on, don't try and slag someone for converting penalties.
That was
Say that again?
That was out of 62 penalties that they got awarded for the season, though.
Maybe. But I think getting a Dutch top scorer in this day and age, and this is why I'm comparing the Sutton Hearts and Larceny, you're going, Sutton and Hearts were bona fide Premier League strikers. End of the day, they were. Sutton had a winner's medal and the Golden Boot winner from a couple of years prior at Norwich, believe it or not. He won the Golden Boot. There's some good trivia for you. John Hartson had been at Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. He had Wimbledon's record signing at £7 million. He'd put 2 past Andy Gorham playing for Manchester United at Old Trafford. And that's what really swung, I think, the Hartson deal to join us. But if we can't get guys like that, like we're not going to sign Harry Kane next summer, do you know what I mean? But I think the Dutch Premier League top scorer, and way out in his own top scorer, I think that's a market that, you're going, that should be exciting people. I'm in no shock, Bruce, that Giakoumakis is now having the impact that he is. Are you?
No, not at all. And I think, David's absolutely right there. All that happened was, like with any new signing, we were reserving our judgment, thought, give them a chance. Let's watch them play some minutes, see what they're all about, see what they can bring to the table. And then just, unfortunately for him, or fortunately, you never know, towards the, in the early parts of his career, he's taken a very relaxed approach to a penalty in a big game. And he's not realised the importance of it until after it's happened. So, at that point, a lot of people wrote him off. But I think maybe that was a good thing for him. So he's seen the fallout from that. And everyone's going, he's a dud, send him back, don't play him. Put a Jetty in front of him. He's missed that penalty. Obviously doesn't like what Celtic's about. And then, the next major headline that we get from him is, he scored a goal. And then afterwards he's saying, look, I'm fit, I'm healthy, judge me now. Yeah. And we're like, hey, we'll give you another chance. And since then, every time the ball goes anywhere near him, it's in the back of the net. Done.
Mate, he's a first-time striker. He's a first-time, you watch, and I'm not saying he makes the most ideal connection with everything, but he's a first-time striker. He wants to get his shot on goal, on sight. He shoots on sight. That's what you want from a penalty box striker. I just seen a comment come in there for Big Juddy Talks. He's a good lad. Good lad. I spoke with Juddy many times. I'd like to get Juddy on the bus. We should try and, or maybe if he's on good form now, hopefully we'll get Juddy out. I'm sure he'll have a vlog done for today, which are quite compelling because they kind of take you into the experience. He's good at what he does. Trust me on that. So big hello to you, Juddy, and cheers for joining on the bus. There'll be no drama, mate. Don't worry. We will get to the little fella soon. But I want to talk about this now.
I'm just going to make one last point, just a wee closing one on the Giakoumakis stuff with the headlines about the media and other fan podcasts. Maybe with this opinion they formed, just like last night when you brought up my comment about the Carl Starfelt one. They're no backing down, they're doubling down, mate. So say it with me loud and proud. That's what they're doing. They formed an opinion at the start of the season. They don't want to be shown that they got it wrong. That's what it is.
You find it's quite tragic that happens. I can't emphasise enough, and I say it almost every show. I felt a very constructive argument to my concerns about Postecoglou. It wasn't just, I've never heard from him. I've not heard of him, so he must be shite. No. I looked at the record and I went, that's not as good as it's being made out by shitey Australian and Japanese journalists that to me were just blowing the trumpet like we would. A Scottish guy going over to a big country in a sport. We would talk them up. We would. Right? So I get all that. But I was like, let's constructively look at it. And in terms of actually round robin league titles that he'd only won the Japanese one. Out of the 4 Australian titles, twice he'd finished top of the pile before the playoff rounds. The other 2 times he just finished in the top 6. One of them he only won on penalties. These aren't options that you get. So that was my balance I was trying to bring to the argument. Do you know what? I was fucking completely wrong when I doubted Ange Postecoglou. doesn't take big balls to say that. It takes telling the truth. And truth is a currency I enjoy being involved with. And that is what's lacking right now in your Nostradamus-esque attempts at sports scene by fan media. The desperation to replicate media is, I just don't understand it. We're here to, if I give a strong opinion and I'm wrong, I'm the first to laugh at myself, right? And I think the Postecoglou I got wrong. Giakoumakis, fourth choice the now. Oh, come on. That is doubling down. That is doubling down. It's embarrassing. Now, we will talk about options, though, because Kyoko, as Ange calls him, and that beautifully soft Japanese accent he uses, you're all right, mate, yeah, I was working with Kyoko. And then goes back into his normal deep Australian accent. It's so funny. But anyway, Kyoko, imagine adding him to this mix of players. We've seen today, Bruce, right? David Turnbull's come back. A guy with, 9 goals, 10 assists, something like that this season. Numbers that usually you can't afford not to have in your first team, right? He's coming back. You're looking at Tom Rogic going off injured. O'Reilly comes on and replaces him just like that. There's no concerns now about a squad we were convinced was threadbare only 6 months ago.
Well, it did feel like it was threadbare. I don't know if we... It's just weird. I think, it's mainly down to Ange and his man management or his bigger picture ideas and approach to things. But, it seems to be that, the way he gets training going or the way he prepares everybody or teaches everybody is so that anybody just knows what that role is and anybody can come from that squad and just slot in. So when we get an injury to, someone like Tom Rogic, usually that's a big deal. Right, he's coming off the pitch. That's not good. Who are we going to bring on now?
Exactly.
And it's almost the same guy. It's like, you've taken version A of him off and put version B on. And we're all just like, hope you're right, Tom. Down, let's carry on. So, we seem to have a lot of options. And every time I see, throughout my whole Celtic supporting career, Celtic supporting life, it's not really a career being a fan, is it? But yeah.
It is a wee bit. We go through the turmoil. Trust me.
But we don't get performance.
We go through the...
We don't get performance reviews of our fandom on a quarterly basis, I guess. But
well, I don't know. I think I have in the past year. I've been asked so many times, how come you weren't at the game if you support Celtic? And I'm like, because I work a Saturday. Unfortunately, it's my career. But
the previous manager had a few things to say about our fandom last season, but we won't get onto that and what was said. But he did have a few strong comments towards us, so that's what it is.
Yeah, there was a feeling. I think that we were being spoiled, and that's why when we did shit, you should just take it on the chin. I think there's an element to it of going, you need to have been through the tough times to understand tough times, right? And I think any maybe younger generation of fan who's never seen a season like last season before will be a more rounded Celtic fan for it happening. That's not because we want these things to happen, by the way. I just think what I mean is you'll appreciate winning the title this year if we are to do so, and I think we will, if I'm completely honest. If we win it, they'll appreciate it more because they know now the hurt. That wasn't for Neil Lennon to be basically going, it's almost a good thing that you're going through this, you entitled bastards. You're like, shut up, mate. That's spin at the highest level. That's House of Lords shite, mate. Honestly, away you go, you banger. But
that's
now
that you're not going to get until things are okay again. So telling us that in the middle of that shit when 10 in a row's down the drain, even if we know that's true, don't fucking say it. We don't want to hear it. It's going down the path.
I couldn't agree more.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Aye. But he was desperate. It was a desperate man trying, whilst in his big hole that he's dug, trying to somehow now clamber out it and make the hole look like, actually, it's better in here. I love the hole that I'm in. And you're like, no, mate, no, absolutely not. Ryan Kelly, Loves the afternoon action bushy because of obviously my big Adam Staple. That's the last time. That is the last time. That's terrible. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Right, yeah. I just want to talk more though in detail about the options, Phil. I'll come to you. James Forrest, I feel, has put in a couple of displays of late that have been actually more befitting of the good size James Forrest. And I know he's a whipping boy, but I actually thought that goal was vintage that he scored at the Spaghetti had. He was out injured today. Abada didn't come in to replace him now. I remember not even long ago thinking it was a straight shootout between those two. The Maeda Giakoumakis combination, I know we've spoke at length about them, but now you've got who you thought was competing for the number 9 role on the left wing, changing with Jota now. Almost, I think it's strange. Jota's not as key as what he maybe was 2 months ago, which again, it just shows how fickle fans are. Of course, he's so important, but your eyes switch at all times. I mean, right now the posters are all Big Gigi. Oh, that's everyone's poster on the wall right now. But it was 2 months ago. It was 100%. It was Jota. We've got so many different options, and like I always go back to, there is many ways to skin a cat, Phil. Are we seeing when we focus on the front three? Are we seeing that there's a workhorse variant, there's a flair variant, there's a more youthful variant, there's a more physical variant? We have got all these tools up front. I honestly feel like this is like we've done 3 seasons in 1 season. Such has been the drastic change that has happened to the tools at Angie's disposal.
I've definitely got a few more grey hairs from some of the stuff we've went through this season, to be fair. It's a good thing because you don't want to be that one-man team that they talk about. You're always known for just having the one talisman. So it's amazing that we've got all these different options. And as you just described there, all the different characteristics that they all bring. Just quickly talking on options though, does anybody have any update on what happened to Tom Rogic? Because obviously he took a bad one today, went off injured. Has there been any word in the post-match about it's a bad injury, or is he going to be okay for Ibrox next? Because that's a bit of a concern if Rogic thinks he's been having a good season. But I say, O'Reilly's obviously come in and done pretty well in that position anyway. But that was a shocker of a challenge today. And I'm sure tomorrow on Sports Scene they will give it all the usual. Oh, was it a red card? Wasn't it? Looked pretty violent, that one. So hopefully Rogic.
Oh, it was a red. Oh, it was a red, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, see, the thing is though, Bruce, Rogic is playing in a pair of slippers, which obviously puts him at a disadvantage when he gets tackles like that. If you were playing in slippers, it's not much protection for the old ankle, is it?
Yeah, but it was an aggressive challenge, and it looked like it was born out of frustration as well. He couldn't get near Rogic. He was frustrated because he got no joy whatsoever, and he's flown in on him. And then the ref's giving him a red card, and he stood there complaining at the ref, like, "What did I do?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What did you do?" The pitch. People like, if I'd done that to someone in the street, I'd have got chased by the police. Simple as that.
Totally.
So, what's the complaint there? He should be off the pitch for that. And you watch the replay back, and okay, fair enough. It looks like he's avoided something serious, but it was 2 inches away from a leg break at that point.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen this before. And do you know what? Even though the referee got that decision right, he got fucking plenty wrong again today as well. The standard across the board to the refs.
Tom Boyd actually called it out. Ramsey came flying in on somebody, and he was like, I don't even know why he hasn't even given a yellow there, because now it gives him license to fly in on somebody else. 6 minutes later, flies in on someone else. But fair play to the ref at that point. He's giving him a straight red. So he sort of realised his error from before. But
it's just bullshit though right now. I mean, I just feel like the standard's so bad that you're almost wanting to kind of go, do you know what? Fucking fair play. You got that one right, mate, by the way they did. I mean, there was penalties before the penalty we got. They're blatant. And it's not about... And I always remember, bitch about it when you're winning. So you're not being a bitter bastard. Do you know what I mean? See, if you're bitching about it when you're winning, that is very important, because that keeps banging the drum. And it is the truth. The standard is shocking. Now, I'm going to tell you something interesting about VAR. People seem to be in the halfway house whether Scottish football can afford it or not. I work with a guy called David, Rangers man. He's probably watching. Good lad. But he sent me a job advert that is already on a job website. I mean, obviously he's thinking about leaving working with me, which I completely understand. But he is, he sent me the job advert that he's seen, and it's to be basically the guy who covers the video footage, to be a VAR consultant, and it's only 22 grand a year. But it's there to work for the SFA. I've seen the job advert, so VAR is coming next year. There's no doubt about it.
What sort of experience do they seemingly require for a job like that? Like, how can you prove that you qualified for that?
I don't know. I think it's about handshakes, mate. It's a joke. It's a joke before everyone gets all panicky.
I'm sure they'll give them a referee crash course over the pre-season.
It was just a screenshot of the headline of the job. It is there. It's out in the open. There is a job. If you want it. So the VAR is coming, no matter what. My concern. Oh, I'd love that, Bruce, mate. I'd love that. Come up to Scotland with a bang, mate. VAR consultant. You know, the thing is for me, that's really interesting about the VAR thing is, we're going to go for the cheaper VAR option. We're not going to replicate the Champions League one, right? Because that costs fucking far too much. That means it's self-governed. It's the same plant pots with 14 replays that kind of make a decision in a match. So it's not going to. And if there is an agenda, they're going to stick to that as well. I don't live in a paranoid world, by the way. I think John Beaton being voted in a Rangers pub speaks for itself. I don't need to be paranoid when I tell you that. That's not paranoia. That's straight facts. I think it's also straight facts to say decisions get made wrong, left, right, and centre because they're shite as well, right? And I do believe that also. I think it's also, would be remiss of me not to say Willie Collum, who I definitely don't see as having that Rangers persuasion, is actually probably the worst referee of the lot. So that's me being open and fair about it all right? And David Kelly, again, I brought up his comment. You must think I love him. The VAR makes no difference. The refs are the same. Totally agree with that. Alan Robertson is loving the fact we have chatted about how good Gigi was today. But guys, before we finish, now I know everyone thinks it's box office, it's getting the popcorn out stuff, because Boyce and a little fella are loggerheads again. And, the other pods, pretentiousness, the king of pretense was in our comment section last night. Now, of course, it's pantomime season. I think a lot of the banter I give, by the way, is pantomime, right? It's the truth. And as I say, I operate in a currency of truth. But if I seen him, it's not like I'd be like, oh, what? Like, nothing like that. If I'd seen him, it'd be like, all right, mate, what's happening? And like a bit of a giggle and just go, you're still a fanny. And you think I'm a fanny. Fuck off. But like, we would probably shake hands and kind of like jovially laugh about shit, because there was a lot of good times over the last 12 months as well. Now, last night, I'm doing a brilliant podcast with Regan, and I'm going to say it was brilliant, not because of me, because of Regan. I thought he brought a hell of a lot to the table, as have so many of the Double Doon guests that we've had, which I love. Now, in the comments comes up a name I'm sure you're all familiar with. A treble in itself, if you like. Now, that name appears with his avatar, his face on it, and the first message is aimed at Regan. Now, Regan does a slot for them. Once a week on their bigger, well, not their bigger, but shite, but like their non-Axum related content that gets about 12 views a day. And they do that, award-winning indeed. But they do that, right? And Regan's a regular guest on it. And the first message that comes in from this commentator, as, the other fella's saying is an impersonator, right? He's adamant it's an impersonator. Unbelievably, though, the impersonator's not reappeared today. I find that fascinating. Now, that impersonator last night aimed his first message at Regan directly. And I felt it was to remind him of, where are your loyalties, mate? You're actually a part of the state of mind thingy, the state of us, as I call it, And basically, then it went into the award-winning stuff, and I'm sitting there, I'm biting, because that's what I do. And then I drop Mr. T Total a message after it, just saying, tell me that wasn't you. almost a bit of me hoping, fucking hell, mate, you're about 45. Like, tell me that's not you. He's like, I don't watch other Celtic podcasts, Russell. And I'm like, all right, well, someone doesn't like you, because right now and I sent it a screenshot. Oh, I'm going to need to fire the laptop up. So one way or the other, my channel has been affected by this bollocks, right? There's an impersonator who's doing just a one-off impersonation. Donny Boy said be the bigger person here. This was in my comments, right? On my channel. I've never went on their channel, Donny Boy. So I'm sorry. You've got to tell the truth. Now, that comment, these comments are flying in last night. They're now being denied that they were him. So that would mean someone's gone out their way to impersonate him, and that impersonation is a pretty damning character indictment of who he actually is. So either way, does it come out in good light? Because if I'm in doubt that it could be him, that shows what a wanker he's actually coming over as. If someone can now be that impersonator, no offense to him, when I say that, genuinely, it was a believable impression if it wasn't you, Paul. You know, it was a believable impression. The other thing is, of course, he tells us that we've got to do I'm going to report this now. So does that mean a report on the channel? That's a bit of a win for him. And the sad news is that he's unfollowed the young man who was on the show last night. And if that's his way of dinging him, then wow, I leave you all to judge what you make of that character. But I am amazed, as I say, if you're an impersonator, where are you today? Because last night was one hell of a hit. That was a success. You'd be back in for more today, stirring that pot. Yet no sign.
Also, if it was speaking true to you in terms of the type of character or personality, then if it is an impersonator, then it's obviously someone who knows him and is close to him. And then at that point, if it was the other way around, like for me, if someone was impersonating me with, getting some of my characteristic traits right and try to laugh shit, I've got a problem there. I have to find out who's trying to stab me in the back and why.
Yeah.
Or if it was me, then I'd just be thinking, what was I on about last night? Which does happen fairly regularly. So,
I just think, whoever it was.
I think it's the worst thing, because that seems to me that it is actually his account, and Regan doesn't deserve that shit. What did Regan do at all to be, thrown under the bus, for want of a better word? So
the unfollowing of Regan for me does throw a bit of fuel on fire, because last night I was kind of 50-50 on what it was, if it was a impersonator, somebody just started having a bam up. But you telling us that, it's like, why would you do that? So that kind of does add to it might have been, so I'm now leaning towards that side. But that's cool crack, man.
Well,
really
listen,
crack.
Who's picking up the pieces the next day? I've got Regan on the phone. I've got to deal with that today. I'm feeling guilty because, oh my God, maybe I'm involved. But no, whoever's came in those comments was responsible, right? And the fact I believed it was him, judging the comments, is a damn indictment on his character. The fact he would unfollow a young boy like that, who we all know has got a heart of gold.
He's obviously
the score. We all know the score. You're unfollowing him, dropping him like a hot toddy. Fuck off. You know what I mean? That's where you realise, do you know what? See all the bullshit and all the pantomime stuff that I was saying. There'll be one person that will come out telling the truth, and there's one person that comes out being exposed. And it's not going to be me. Rest assured on that. But we'll leave it there. And that is the last time, I think, that he gets any of the airtime.
Don't you think also it's not exactly the Celtic way, is it, for fans of Celtic to be attacking other fans of Celtic and try to divide our fan base when the whole fucking foundation is us being one big fan and all of that shit? So just drop the point. And Regan is the tipping of the iceberg, because what's that even about? And then he's got to wake up worrying, like, what's it going to be like next time I do state Scottish football or whatever? Am I in the dugout? Do I have to answer to anybody?
And the thing is, if someone's doing impersonations of you,
come on the pod. and just chat Celtic.
Yeah.
Nah.
Anyway, I think Juddy nails it. There's room for every Celtic content creator to all get a piece of the pie. I don't know what pie he's talking about. If it's the pie that I'm getting a piece of, mate, then I'm on the fucking Tesco value budget one that you heat up in the microwave. But do you know what? I absolutely love doing what I do. And I do it because one thing about this, and the Plus is not the best pod in the world, by the way. Fucking far from it. But do you know what I've got? I've got honest Celtic fans that come on as guests. I give honest, strong views I can back up with, I think, a wee bit of depth. Right? I'm not kiss arsing to try and get favouritism of any media outlet or try and pursue a career in the media. I'm not trying to kiss arse of Celtic to try and get access to fan media press conferences. What the fuck would I do there? I'd be hopeless in that environment, and it's just not me. Everything you get here, at least, I can always say, is the one currency operating is the truth. Now, that is as simple as that. Now, sometimes do I get opinions wrong? Yes, I do. Of course I do. But will it be my honest opinion? Absolutely. Listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. We've went over an hour. Let's listen to Chris Sutton talking so poignantly and some music. and I'll see you guys on Monday for the Monday Club. Take care. Cheers again.
About me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.